Good, Lucas?
I think we're good. Yeah. I
Okay.
think we're good.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is the Municipality of Tweed Committee of Adjustment and Planning Committee meeting, August 30th. We'll call the meeting to order with the land acknowledgement. The Municipality of Tweed recognizes that our work takes place on traditional Indigenous territories, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all Indigenous peoples whose presence continue to enrich our communities. The first order would be introductions, so we can get things going. Lucas, we'll start with you.
Lucas Wales, Deputy Clerk, Zoning Administrator.
Krellen Clerk.
Kevin Goche, bylaw enforcement.
Jack Robinson.
Phyllis Savoy.
Roxanne Bailey.
What we're going to be doing here as we go through the agenda, anyone who wishes to speak on any of the issues, we'll acknowledge you. We'll ask you to go to the microphone, or people that are joining us online, we will acknowledge you. Be sure to turn your mic on, and then we'll hear your comments. After those discussions are completed, then we'll put the motions onto the floor and take a vote. Okay. And everyone, you've signed in, right? You were asked to do that. Okay. So first order of business will be the approval of the agenda that was distributed to the committee. Motion to accept the agenda as presented, moved by Roxanne, seconded by Jack. All those in favor? The agenda is set. Disclosures of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof for the business on the agenda. Roxanne? I have none. Jack? No. Okay. Minutes that were included in the package of the last meeting, June 28th. Motion to approve the minutes as presented, Roxanne, seconded by Jack. Errors, omissions, comments from those, all those in favor, the minutes are carried. Okay, so now severance applications. The lady who's joining us, can you tell me which item it is that you wish to speak to? Sorry, no volume. Lucas, do you know?
She's with the rezoning application.
Okay, so it's the rezoning. I know that. Okay, good. I just wanted to be sure we have the right piece for you. Okay. So severance application, the first one we're going to deal with is B5324, applicant Anthony Lajoie, location being part of lots 13, 14, 15, concession 10. The proposal is that the applicant proposes the creation of two new rural lots. Severed lot number 1 having an area of approximately 15 hectares or 37 acres with 222 meters being 728 feet frontage on the south side of Sulphide, and the severed lot number 2 having an area of approximately 22 hectares, 55 acres with a combined frontage of 323 meters being 1,059 feet on the south side of Sulphide Road. Severed lot number 2 surrounds an existing separate lot municipally known as 472 Sulphide Road. It's proposed that the severed lot number 2 would have 224 meters or 734 feet of lot frontage on the west side of 472 Sulphide Road and 99 meters or 324 feet of lot frontage on the east side of 472 Sulphide Road. The proposed retained lands are open fields that are actively farmed lands, which have an area of approximately 34 hectares or 84 acres, with approximately 442 meters, 1,384 feet of frontage on the south side of Sulphide Road. This parcel is developed with a single detached dwelling, a detached garage, and a barn is known municipally as 366 Sulphide Road. Is there anyone attending that wishes to address this application? Nobody? Lucas?
Through the chair to the committee, I'll just make note, this is a recirculation from a previous consent file that we've seen before. The previous one did lapse, so this is a complete recirculation of the exact same proposal that we saw a couple of years ago.
Right, it's good. Yeah, okay. Jack, anything?
No, it seems to meet the provincial and county standards, and I don't have any problem with it.
Nothing's changed with the comments from any of the agencies from the original?
Absolutely nothing has changed in my review, yeah.
Okay. So the motion then would be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment Planning recommend that council grant consent for severance application B 5324 with the following conditions. All realty taxes are paid in full. Parkland fee is paid in the amount of $750 for each new lot. Road widening as required along the severed lot to conform to 33 feet from the center line of the traveled roadway being Sulphide Road. That the public works manager is satisfied with a safe entrance on the severed lot with roadside ditching and drainage. Mover, Roxanne, seconded by Jack. All those in favor? Severance will move forward to council. What's the date of the council meeting?
September 10th.
Okay. Okay, severance application B 7924. Applicants Candace and Luke Foucher. The address 435 Mini Avenue. The proposal is the creation of a new residential lot by severing the vacant portion of the subject lands consisting of approximately 0.14 acres, 564 square meters of lot area, 20 meters or 65.6 feet of lot frontage on the east side of Mini Avenue. The retained lands would have approximately 0.16 acres, 656 square meters of lot area, and 18 meters, 59 feet frontage on the east side of Mini Avenue. The retained lands are developed with this 174 square meter, 1,882 square feet, single detached dwelling, municipally known as 435 Mini Avenue. Is there anyone present wishing to speak to this application? None. Lucas, was there any follow-up from agencies?
No, through the chair to the committee, this is a county file, so all of that correspondence would be with Hastings County's planning department.
Roxanne, Jack?
No, it's, to me, it's a small lot, but with water and sewer, it meets the condition and I have no problem with it.
Okay, so be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment Planning recommend that council grant consent for severance application B 7924 with the following conditions. All realty taxes are paid in full. Parkland fee is paid in the amount of $750 for the new lot. And the public works manager is satisfied with safe site entrance on the severed lot with roadside ditching and drainage. Mover, Roxanne, seconded by Jack. All those in favor? Application will move forward to council. It's carried. Okay. Severance application B 7824, George Collins and Mary Prentice Collins, authorized agent Randy Rolls. The location is 81A Potter Settlement Road. The proposal and purpose of the application is to create a legal right-of-way over an existing laneway on the subject lands in favor of the benefiting lands located immediately to the north. The applicant has indicated the benefiting lands have historically gained access through the subject land since 1986 and now wish to formalize the access by right-of-way and title. The subject lands are approximately 8.88 hectares, 21.9 acres in lot area with 402.14 meters or 1,319 feet of frontage on the east side of Potter Settlement Road and is developed with a single detached dwelling and 3 accessory sheds. The benefiting lands are approximately 7.04 hectares, 17.4 acres in lot area with 172.86 meters, 567 feet of frontage on the east side of Potter Settlement Road and is developed with a single detached dwelling, 3 accessory sheds. The topography of the benefiting lands along Potter Settlement Road hinders the feasibility of establishing an access point from Potter Settlement Road. Therefore, the existing laneway on the subject lands were created in 1986 and have been used since that time. Is there anyone attending with regard to this application? Nope, none. Anything that came in late, comments?
No comments. This appears to just be a formalization of a right-of-way that's been used since 1986. They're just tidying it up so that there's going to be legal access moving forward for future property owners.
They'll register it on title and Roxanne? Nothing, Jack?
No, I don't have a problem. I think they are doing something legal, like he's getting their registered right away, which before was just using it. So I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Be it resolved that Committee of Adjustment and Planning recommend that council grant consent for severance application B 7824 with the following conditions. All realty taxes are paid in full and road widening as required along the severed lot to conform to 33 feet from the center line of the traveled roadway being Potter Settlement Road. Mover, Jack, seconded by Roxanne. All those in favor? The application moves forward to council. Okay, that concludes the severance applications. The next item will be the public meeting for the zoning bylaw amendment. So we'll call this portion of the meeting to order. No disclosures for this, they've been declared previously. This will be the meeting to deal with the zoning bylaw amendment ZA 13/24. And we'll give everyone the opportunity to speak to this issue. Okay, so the applicants, Mark Giroux, Rosemary Smith of 19 Sherry Court. The purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to change the zoning of approximately 3.8 acre lot from the rural residential zone to the special rural residential RR 48 zone. The special rural residential zone RR 48 will allow for a maximum of 2 pygmy goats to be permitted on the parcel. Are there people attending? Would you like to speak to the issue or? Sure. Okay. You'd come forward and just give your name and. Thank you.
My name is Grace Bryson. I live behind them, so our properties butt up against. There's a couple of things that I would like to address. According to the Canadian National Code of Conduct and Practice for the Care and the Handling of Goats, there's a website I can send it to you. It's a pretty big one. It states that there are certain things that have to happen in order for people to own livestock, whether it's goats, cows, horses, which is adequate housing for heating and cooling, adequate drainage for water, urine, feces, adequate storage of foods, grains, all of this stuff. Plus, on this particular site for goats, it states that for goats to be in a healthy, happy, natural environment, they need a bare minimum of 5 acres unobstructed, as in no dwelling, so houses and whatnot, for them to live their best life so that they can walk where they need to walk for hoof health. They can chew and eat what they need to chew and eat for guttural health and just overall maintenance. The house that has, which is 19 Sherry Court, they have 3.8 acres and they bought a house, I think it was roughly 2 years ago, in rural residential. I've been there almost 12 years and I bought in rural residential to get out of the city, to maintain a quiet, calmer piece of life. If they wanted to have goats, I'm not saying that they can't have goats. I'm not saying that they shouldn't want to have goats. But if you knew that this is what you wanted, why did you not move into an area that was already zoned for farms? Not just all of a sudden rewrite the rules of our neighborhood to suit your own.
Raise your dog.
Sorry, to suit your own needs. The smell that comes off of that house some days between the goats and their plethora of dogs, the noise. I have it all here. I can submit it to you. I have text messages from, I'm just going to turn that down. I have text messages from people apologizing for leaving from my house, from family barbecues, because they can't stand the noise and the smell. My son in 2 weeks was supposed to get married on my property. And I got last week a text message for him saying that as much as he would love to do this and save the money, but he doesn't feel comfortable now having his wedding in a barnyard. When we planned this, they had yet to live there. And we didn't assume goats and all of that stuff, right? So now we have had to go and spend more money and get a hall. Literally, we just got it, what was it, Friday or Saturday. It's not the hall of choice, it was the hall of what we could get. There is a natural stream, right now it's not running, but there is a natural stream that goes between our properties. So because they don't have proper drainage and because they don't have proper grain feed, I have an actual photograph for the first time in the 12 years that I've lived in my house. There's a rat that I took a photo of coming out from underneath the siding of my house that faces their house for lack of storage, food storage and grain storage. Of course, it's going to bring it in. Again, farms have that, but this is not a farming community. This is a rural residential. And I think what I really would like to understand is They have 3.8 acres. According to this, it says they need at least 5 acres. But with on their 3.8 acres, they have a house and a backyard, and the backyard that they have fenced in for their dogs is 3 times bigger than this tiny little pen that they have set up for their goats. This pen, I didn't actually measure it, but it's probably about 20 feet by 20 feet. It does not have proper housing. It does not have proper cooling for the summer. It does not have proper heating for the winter. There's no drainage under the soil. So all the urine and feces will run into that creek, which will then trickle into the Mora River that is at the bottom of our property. I don't think this is healthy for anyone. But the biggest question I have is, and it's not a matter of who came first, that's just petty. But why is her desire and want to have a goat or 2 goats exceed my want and desire, who bought in a rural residential area to have peace and quiet and enjoy the backyard in which I pay property taxes for? And I can't. Because my backyard, where we are now cleaning out, which we have now stopped, it was going to be for the wedding. If I sit out there between the dogs and the goats running up and down the fence, I can't even enjoy my own backyard. In the summertime, I can't even hang my clothes up outside because my clothes come in smelling like barnyard.
Oh, Grace.
No, I'll get to you. Just hang on. I'll get to you though. She
Okay,
has
thank
the
you.
floor.
Yeah, thanks.
Continue.
So in the summertime, I can't have my windows open. Between noise and smell, my house stinks. The noise is obnoxious some days. The goats some days don't make a lot of noise. Other days they scream constantly. I work Monday through Friday. I have a very strenuous job that when I come home on weekends, we're not loud people. John has the property right next to me, who also has his property butts up to this, and he too has some concerns. But the fact is, we are quiet people. We bought in residential rural to have peace and quiet, to be just home to enjoy. And I'm not able to do that now. I can't, like I said, I can't open my windows on days like today where the weather is nice for smell and noise. My clothes that come in off the clothesline stink some days, not every day. Depends on how the weather is and humidity and how smells travel. But there are some days I can't even take the clothes off my line and wear them. I have to rewash them because of the smells. I don't understand why her want and desire to have goats super exceeds my want and desire to have peace and quiet when I bought in rural residential. She doesn't have 5 acres. The goat thing of Canada, and again, I can send you this, there's a minimum of 5 acres with proper barns, with proper ventilation, heating, and da.
Yep.
This is not it. They
Okay.
don't even have proper fencing. They just have construction fencing.
Okay. Did you want to speak to the issue or? Okay,
Just repeat that.
sir, are you here for this issue?
I'm here to listen.
Oh, okay, fine. Nobody else? Are you here for this rezoning?
Yeah.
Okay, did you want to speak to the issue? Go ahead.
My name is Mark Drode. I'm actually one of the co-owners of 19 Shirley.
You're the co-applicant as well, right?
I'm
Yes, okay,
I'm the proactive.
Yeah.
What you call it.
go ahead.
Reference laws things, we actually did quite a bit of research before we got the goats and stuff. Reference that, including our dogs. Some of the points I picked up. Canada Goat Association, what you want to call it, website might say goats needs to be 5 acres, but my understanding horses only 2.5 acres fed, meaning they have to have food problem in, and they're over 1,000 pounds, where you goats is only 40 pounds. The stream The natural stream is actually a dug trench that was dug in a number of years ago by previous owners, not sure which one. What was it? It was related to maintain a moisture related. Pygmy baby on the other end.
Okay.
And so the land is quite wet and moist. There is drainage from the house and from the barn area. Underground, you can see underneath dug into the trenches, multiple pipes coming around the area to bring the water away. We remove any mirrored or disposed grass to another location, not in the area. The housing itself is built for goat itself, as in Nigerian pygmy goats. You cannot heat them in the winter. You cannot cool them in the summer, because once you mess up their temperature regulating system, biological system, then you have to continue to do so, or they will cause physical distress of the animal. And they're also easily trained. Reference to the smell, there are cattle farm across the river and the other side as well, not too far from the area where I do smell cattle from them. I don't have much sense of smell in relationship to a few things, because being overseas and what I've witnessed and been involved in in combat. But however, numerous smell, I can smell rotten things like flesh or anything like that. Reference rats and stuff, they've always been around. I know in places like East Belleville has a increase of rat population this year than last year, so it's not normal. Unnormal, I could say. Because they've been around for a while. Right now, we have horse fence for the goats, and we're probably looking at about around 120 feet by 75 feet roughly at this present time, and being expanded and going to the DMS report, where it's expanding further down the area for the goat to sell, and the dogs, which are herding dogs. There will be their fencing will be around goats for more protection for them. We do take the goats out for a walk in a few other areas, and we bring food in for goats as nature of the size of the property. We cannot have them fed off land because the size is excluding for any other animals. And most restriction that we know of, like for example, the horses, the restriction and stuff, is not in the county. I found a restriction in some of these, this 5 municipalities up.
Could I just add to that, Mark?
No, hold on,
No.
just hold.
Okay, thank you.
But anyways, that's just some of the points that I picked up from here, and I use these animals for more of a service animal. They're not licensed service animal. I have talked to my doctors, plural. Unfortunately, one of them has retired. There's no replacement for him, but the other ones are aware of it, and I use my dogs and goats for service animals and stress relief for me, because I doesn't take much from me to with PTSD. I guarantee you it doesn't take much.
Thank you. Anything further?
We are trying to do everything we can to keep within environmental regulation and enhancing requirement for the animals' safety and beyond for that as well.
Thank you. No, just a sec. Would you go ahead? Miss-
Okay, yeah, my name is Marg. I'm the co-applicant. In regards to the amount of space goats need, it does vary from wet-fed goats to dry-fed goats, and pygmy goats need about 0.3 of an acre. Our goats are dry-fed, which means they eat hay, and then they go out for walks in the woods and they rummage on the ground for dead leaves and things like that, which they really enjoy. They are quite social animals, so if someone is around outside, sometimes they will bleat, but usually if we're outside, they're hanging around with us. As far as manure disposal, I'm thinking that what you may be smelling, Grace, is we've been having some odor coming from our septic bed. We're not sure what's causing that. If it's the heat or something that needs checking out, but that started to happen this year. I can have my windows open and I don't smell an odor, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe you have a more sensitive smell. And this is kind of the first time we've heard from you.
Let's not, okay, let's not personalize this. Let's speak to the
Oh,
issues
okay.
that have been brought
Sorry.
up, please.
Yeah, okay. So the manure is taken away. The grain is stored in a metal bin. The goats eat the grain immediately, so there's no spillage from their trough. I'm usually out there with them when they have that. They're well taken care of. I'm sure other people can attest to that. So yeah, I think that's all I have to add at the moment. Did you have any questions for us?
I don't, not at this moment, but don't go away.
Okay.
No,
No, I won't. No.
Jack, did you have questions?
No, I don't have any question for her.
Okay. Did you want to, if it's something new to add or to clarify to the discussion, but if it's the personal part of it?
No, there's nothing personal. John and I have both just mentioned that.
Just through the chair, you'll have to come to the
Sorry,
mic.
yes,
so it's
I'm
picked up.
sorry. My bad. Yep.
So as John and I were just discussing, yes, there is at times a smell of manure from the farm across the water. But he is also in a farming zone. And we knew that when we purchased the house, and the smell of manure isn't constant. It's just when they do the spread manure a couple times a year to their land, give it 2-3 days, it's gone. That is not the smell that we are discussing. Also, John can attest to the new rat problem that we're having. It did not exist previous. Now, what it does across the street in the farmer's cattle barn, I don't know, but that's across the street, across the river. It doesn't pertain to my house. I have an actual photo of a rat that we pulled out from underneath the siding of our house that has only started to happen since the goats were there.
Okay.
And I don't think I have a oversensitive sense of smell. I think I just have a normal sense of smell, but it all boils down to this. You're in rural residential. By your words, because I have all the copies of all the papers, by the definition of rural residential, this does not suit your codes, your own words. So again, I'm not saying that they can't have goats. I'm not saying that they don't deserve goats. And I'm not even saying that they don't provide some sort of PTS service. They just don't belong in our residential neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Smith, is there anything that has just been mentioned that you wish to address?
The only thing on the odor front that I can come up with is this smell that we've been having from our septic area. Yeah, the manure from the goat shed is removed. It's taken to my brother's farm north of Madoc. So unless the odor travels that far, I'm not sure
Okay.
what
All right,
else I
thank
can
you.
add.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dro, do you have anything further? You could probably turn that mic on right there in front of you.
Point I mentioned earlier, there's the increase of rat population, not just the area, it's all over the place.
Okay.
I have people in Belleville, acquaintance and colleagues that will contest they have increased rats in their area as well, and they live in the outside of Belleville in the rural aspect of the.
Okay. And on that issue, in fairness, what was said was it's something that they have just newly seen, so.
That's an
Yeah.
increased issue all over the place, including like rabbit population and fox population, the area in which has nothing to do with the goats. It's the circulation of growth of animal, which I believe rabbits every 7 years or so. And fox population is because we got a higher amount of rabbits and chipmunks and squirrel in the area.
Okay, thank you. Lucas, were there any other calls or letters or emails? It's just, sorry, I'll come back. Go ahead.
We've received a notice from Enbridge Gas. They have no objection to the application. MTO, no objection to the application. It's outside of their area, and that's it. Those are the comments.
Nothing from any other neighbors or?
No.
Okay, you'll have to go up here. It's recorded, which is why we have to.
Hey, John Girardi, I'm one of the neighbors that the property butts onto. I've lived in my place for over 30 years. And I've experienced in that time one barn rat, which was ages ago. And now problem starting again. There's a reason for it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay,
May I add to that?
quickly, only if it's something new, if it's something that's already been addressed, but go ahead.
I mean, we haven't seen rats, so that's what's kind of,
Okay,
I'm,
No, it-
I'm worrying, why
no.
have we not seen
and
rats?
we can appreciate that. There's other issues that this is just one that comes with it, but thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious, that's all.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so the role of the committee is to gather as much information as we can to make a recommendation to council, and then council has the final decision, not the committee. Clearly, whatever decision is made is not going to help the neighbors. And unfortunately, we have no control over that. There's nothing we can do in terms of regulating neighbors and sensitivities and how people feel about things. Our responsibility is to take a look at the bylaws, how they're written, when they were written, what they apply to, and what makes sense if a change were made. Does this make good planning sense for the entire community? No, sorry. Roxanne, do you have comments about?
Because it keeps bringing up the rat problem, I actually live in rural residential and don't have any farms near me, and I've had rats in my house. It's awful. They're ugly and gross. I can see why people don't like them, but it's what it is.
Jack?
Yes, we have a bylaws that is to protect the people and the neighbors and stuff, and this doesn't, 3.8 acres doesn't confirm with our bylaws. And it is a rural residential area, and I think, I don't think I can support the motion.
Okay. Is it a motion that you could support? You can support the change? Okay. I'm torn. But again, like I said, it's not our decision. We can only make a recommendation to council. So, the council meeting September 10th, right? And you would all have an opportunity to present your case. Go ahead.
No,
No, they can't.
this is the public
They-
meeting
right,
today.
This
Yeah.
ends public meeting today, right? And nobody else has participated. Okay. So. I also live in rural residential, and I also live near farms, and I live near water. So I understand a lot of the issues. I also know that, things are changing in Tweed and we've dealt with a number of issues in terms of rezoning and how do we best accommodate those areas. I have some real questions about the stewardship of animals and what the rules are and what's required and what isn't required. And by setting it forward now, does that mean that that restricts it to those two animals, or does it open the door? I have a concern about that. I have a concern about the health implications of what that means in terms of extra feed and water. We went through this with the whole chicken bylaw, and so it becomes a bigger issue. I, right now, at this point in time, don't feel that there's enough information for me to make an informed decision to say, yes, change the bylaw. So at this point in time, I would be recommending against it. I just feel that there's not enough clarification. That is not to say that you don't have the opportunity in the future to pursue this. What would that entail, Lucas?
So we need a formal motion from the committee to
Right.
make that recommendation or not make the recommendation. The recommendation goes before council. They'll make a decision whether to proceed forward with a bylaw amendment or a notice of refusal. And from the issuance of either a notice of decision or a notice of refusal, there's a 20-day appeal period. Now, under Planning Act amendments, individuals, third parties, such as neighbors, cannot appeal the decision of council. Only the applicant can. So depending on the decision of council, the appeal rights belong to the agencies and to the applicant.
The applicants only.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of the process that we're looking at here.
Okay. Okay, so sorry, I said I'd come back to you. Was there anything new in addition?
I can't remember what it was.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I believe based on the discussion, Lori may have an amended resolution.
I just,
No.
I just made notes, not really the resolution itself. But
Okay.
just based on your concerns of stewardship of animals, and does it restrict it to two animals or open the door for more, and the health implications.
I remember.
Okay, go ahead.
Do I have to go up there again? Yes.
Yeah.
Again, it's a rural residential area. And like you had said, if we change the bylaw for this one, then who's to say the next house can't change it and the next house can't change it? If I wanted to buy my house near a farm, I would have bought near a farm. If they wanted a farm, they should have bought a farm. I bought in rural residential so that I could have peace and quiet. Now, since they have the goats, the people directly across the street from them, again, I'm not sure of their lot size, I'm not sure of what their regulations are, but they now have goats as well. So this is starting to become a trickle-down effect. And this is a rural residential area, and 19's driveway goes directly across the street to number 16's driveway, and they are the house that now have goats. So this is starting to become a trickle-down
Okay,
effect.
let's stay focused on this application and this address.
Right, what
I
I'm saying
appreciate
is,
that.
this is rural residential, and I don't
Yeah.
want my rural residential neighborhood to go into mini farm areas. Not why I bought here.
Understood. Okay, I have too many papers. Can I just have that for a second? Okay, so the zoning, the proposal and the motion would read, the proposed and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to change the zoning of approximately 3.8 acre lot from rural residential zone to special rural residential R48 zone. The special rural residential zone RR48 will allow for a maximum of 2 pygmy goats to be permitted on the parcel. Mover and a seconder to put it into the minutes, Roxanne and Jack. Okay, now we're going to vote. All those in favor of recommending the rezoning application to council? Roxanne, opposed? Jack, I'll break the tie. I also am opposed. So as Lucas spoke earlier, the application will go to council on September the 10th. And at that point in time, a decision will be made. You would be notified if, as will you be notified of council's decision by signing in, or if you wish to attend the meeting, but you won't be able to participate, you can listen in. You can zoom in too, right? Still? Okay. And then following that 20-day waiting period, then an appeal could start. Okay. That will conclude the public meeting for August the 30th, 2024. Staff updates, Lucas?
Yeah, so the administrative amendment to the zoning bylaw came into effect in early August. We're working now on consolidating our bylaw, consolidating all the amendments from over the years, and bringing in those new provisions so that we have one document moving forward. That's going to take some time. We've obviously had a year of staffing challenges in the office, and in some ways those are getting solved. In other ways, there's other issues. Things aren't permanent yet in terms of support staff, I guess we'll say. So it's going to take some time before those things get sorted out. And so there'll be some time before we get a fully consolidated bylaw. It's something I'm just working on when I have time, and there's not a lot of time. So that's in play. And I did need to note under the staff updates, there was a circulatory notice to the agencies and the committee for a minor variance application for today's meeting, which was withdrawn by the applicant. Is there any other updates? I don't believe I have any other planning updates for the committee. We are dealing with a number of conditions of severance. So there are a lot of rezoning applications right now in the queue that the committee won't see. They're going directly to council. I don't believe I have anything for next month yet, and I'm not necessarily anticipating a meeting next month. So we'll just have to wait and see whether we have a severance come in or not. But all the volume's going straight to council right now,
Okay.
essentially.
If there is a meeting, it would be September 27th, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Lori, anything? Nope. Okay, motion to adjourn. Roxanne, seconded by Jack. All those in favor of the meeting is adjourned. 10:45. Okay.